animated Anarchy series presents the animated Hour of Power.
What's up, everybody? We are live here on the When Tunes Combine channel here on YouTube. We're usually live on Facebook, but something is going wrong on there. But anyway, I'll fix it later. So, all right, but we are live here on the When Tunes Combine channel here on YouTube. Of course, this is the animated Hour of Power, part of the animated Anarchy series. I am your host, Dutchie, not in costume today, because we didn't have a battle that I could put a costume on for, or not that I could find anyway. Joining me, as always, is Shawn.
Hello.
And, of course, our wild card, Dave.
Let's get it.
So, for those of you that usually like to watch the video on YouTube, YouTube is a little, acting a little strange tonight. So just catch us on, or if they usually watches us on Facebook, they're acting a little strange tonight. So just catch us on YouTube. I'll make Eric fix it later. All right. So this is the animated Hour of Power. Tonight's matches are Rick and Morty the Anime versus HELLSING Ultimate, Lucas the Spider versus Total Drama Island, Dragon Ball Super versus Dr. Stone, and the main event is VOLTRON versus M.A.S.K. Not the Jim Carrey cartoon, but the M.A.S.K. Mobile Army Special Command from the 80s. So, if you've never seen the show before, we have 5 categories. These categories will be determined by the randomizer. We have 11 to choose from. 5 will get picked. So I'm going to put that up right here, right now. And it's going to be a best of 5 series. We will be judging, and if a show wins 3-0, 30 points. 3-1, 20 points. 3-2, 10 points. The loser gets 5. If you are swept, you lose 10. Can everybody see the screen?
Yep, sir.
All right. What do we want?
I would like animation style, voice acting, overall enjoyment.
I'd like originality in some of them.
Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, well, Shawn?
Dang, I'm so smart. I'm going to type these down because I still don't have a pen. So, uno momento.
All right. Well, I got to write them down too. So.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to have cultural impact, originality, animation, which is what Dave asked for. We got moments, and we got humor. So, does this change how either one of you were thinking this was gonna go?
Yeah, humor kind of changes a little bit. For definitely for me, because some of these don't have a lot of humor.
Memorable moments is going to be hard
compared to some. Yeah, memorable moments. I that's a tough category as well, because like we've been watching so many shows, so like it's hard for me to really like some spots. Like I really like some things just hit and I remember them, but like some of these shows, like it's just another show.
Yeah,
like nothing really pops out to me like that on some of these shows.
Yeah,
some do. It's far and few between. It really has to be a really good show to be memorable for me.
Quick shout out to the Buffalo Sabres. Good win.
They won against the Panthers today?
3-0.
Beautiful. Last I seen it was 2-0.
Yeah, they won 3-0 tonight.
All right. So we got all that taken care of. And all right. So let's go ahead and get it started. Rick and Morty the Anime versus HELLSING Ultimate. Rick and Morty the anime in the division of Neil Thompson. Hellsing Ultimate in the division of Mike Thomas. Cultural impact is the first category. It's kind of weird to start the battle with cultural impact. I don't think we've done that yet.
No, it is a little weird.
Yeah. So both are animes. Rick and Morty, the anime, obviously, it's a take on the Rick and Morty show. A a negative take, according to some videos on YouTube. So, but Shawn, I'm going to start with you.
I have Rick and Morty the anime winning this one solely because of it's a spinoff of the original series.
Okay.
And it's something,
I feel like the
really
spinoff hasn't had the same level as influence though.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm just basing it off of like their name and what they come from more than Hellsing, because I really honestly couldn't figure out anything cultural impact for Hellsing to give an honest answer.
Well, I'll give it a go.
Go for it.
It's not even necessarily that Hellsing Ultimate had a positive cultural impact. It's that Rick and Morty the anime, according to some videos that I've seen or some headlines that I have read, had a negative impact because they think it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's why I actually went with Hellsing Ultimate. Not necessarily because of anything positive on their part, but really more the negativity on the Rick and Morty anime end. All right, Dave, you're breaking the tie.
Yeah, with cultural impact, I went with Hellsing Ultimate here. Like you said, the Rick and Morty anime, it's gotten more bad reviews than good. It's a spinoff that doesn't have the same level as the original. Hellsing Ultimate, the manga began in '97, so it's had a lot more time to, cultivate a fan base and bring more of an impact. It's got distinctive art style too, to make it stand out a little bit, and it touches on like a different, way of like vampires too. So it's a little different. It's out of the ordinary for anime, I feel, and I feel like because it's been around so long, it's made more of an impact.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I agree with it. All right, so Hellsing Ultimate has won the first category. They're up 1-0. Two more and they get a sweep. Originality is next. And again, Rick and Morty is a spinoff of, Rick and Morty the anime is a spinoff of Rick and Morty. Hellsing Ultimate, I feel like there has been animes like that before, because I feel like sometimes some anime is the same, but I still went with Hellsing Ultimate just because Rick and Morty is just a spinoff. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really see much originality there. So I went Hellsing Ultimate in originality. And Shawn, go ahead.
No, I agree with you in this one with Hellsing Ultimate. There was nothing original of Rick and Morty the anime. I do agree that it sucks though too. It is not very well. It's just not well done. I know.
All right, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going with you guys on this. Hellsing Ultimate. I mean, it's a little different to me. It's like a horror story in its own way. To me, I felt. And there was nothing to predate this for it to go off of. It's its own story. It has its own originality, unlike Rick and Morty, which is a spinoff. So.
All right. So Hellsing Ultimate is up 2-0. One more and they get a sweep. Next category is animation style. Now they both have that anime, obviously animation. Who does it better though? And Dave, I'm going to start with you this time.
This one was tough because both these shows, their animations went through 3 different companies. Like they went out to 3 different companies to do their animations. So the consistency on them vary a little bit for both of them. This is the one where it was a toss-up for me. It's a little more 50-50. And I went with Rick and Morty, the anime here.
Okay. All right, Shawn?
I actually have Hellsing Ultimate here. I think the animation was a lot better, a lot cleaner. Rick and Morty the anime looked kind of rushed in some of the designs. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Hellsing did do a pretty good job with its animation.
It's not like Rick and Morty, the anime isn't awful. It's just for being a spinoff of the show already, it just kind of throws it off for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, so I'll break the tie here. I actually went with Rick and Morty because I just felt like it wasn't that much better. Like it was a toss-up. As a matter of fact, I changed the answer like 3 times.
I'm with you there, Doug. I'm with you.
But I feel as if they just did, because there was a little bit of hint of like the animation of the regular, even though it wasn't anime, you could tell that like the regular, like the creators of the show kind of had like a hint of like, okay, you got to make sure that, they look exactly like Rick and Morty. So I went with Rick and Morty on that one. All right, 2-1. There will be no sweep, but we go on to memorable moments. This is one of those that it was hard to really come up with who had better moments. But Shawn, you're going to give it a go.
I gave this one to Rick and Morty, the anime. I just think the way the show leads it up to so many moments between every character that it's almost indecisive not to pick them. Between the moments Rick and Morty have on their adventures to, Jerry being treated the way Jerry's always treated. So, all right. Rick and Morty, I think, has more of them.
I'm gonna go the opposite direction. I went with Hellsing Ultimate because I can remember more of what I saw, and especially in like that first episode, which by the way is like an hour long. Like there's a lot more.
Gotta bring you in,
Yeah, there's a lot more.
I'd rather them spend more time on it.
Yeah, there's a lot more things memorable just happening in that first episode than I feel like happened like throughout the entirety of the Rick and Morty anime. So, all right, Dave, you're breaking another tie.
Yeah. I went with Hellsing Ultimate here. The fight between Alucard and Walter was crazy. I mean, seeing his arm get, shredded in the fight was pretty memorable for me. So, I mean, the battle scenes, that kind of really does it for me. They're pretty memorable for me with the animation, with, how gruesome it can kind of get. It kind of sticks out. Rick and Morty is kind of just like a little banter. So it doesn't really stick out to me. It's just people doing what they're doing. Yeah, they're just bickering and saying some funny things here and there. Yeah, nothing really pops out to me.
I think another reason, sorry to cut you off, that I picked Rick and Morty is because a lot of the stuff that happened in there made me remember Rick and Morty.
The previous show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. Hellsing Ultimate wins 3-1. They're going to get 20 points out of this. Rick and Morty, the anime, is not going to get any. We're going to move on to another battle here. It's Lucas the Spider versus Total Drama Island. Oh my God, I wish I had hours of my life back.
It's rough watching Lucas the Spider, isn't it?
Not just Lucas the Spider.
Total Drama Island, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like the show when I was younger either, when it first aired.
Yeah. So, all right. Lucas the Spider in the division of Gary Lutz. Total Drama Island in the division of somebody who belongs on an island called Total Drama. Kaylee Fox. So, anyway. All right. Cultural impact.
I'll go first.
I was just gonna say you're sighing and I'm stalling.
I just want to get it out of the way. I picked Lucas the Spider for this one.
Okay.
Because it is a newer kids show. And I just think that, it's pretty popular for right now. I mean, it's got good ratings, good reviews. It's not an awful show. My kid obviously likes it, but it's obviously also based towards kids his age.
Yeah.
And it also makes them less afraid of spiders, I feel.
Yeah, it makes them, exactly like you said. It can make them less afraid of spiders, but it makes them more aware of different animals as well. And this isn't like, these are the spiders I like too, the jumping spiders. I think jumping spiders are the dopest spider out there. But I just think because it's a child show, that it had a much higher impact than Total Drama.
Yeah. Dave.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Shawn. I just feel like it's impacting the youth, where Total Drama Island was for a specific time frame, and it got like a specific group of people in that time frame, and that's it. I don't think it really expanded past that. Like, it does have a fan base, but I feel like Lucas the Spider is hitting millions of children.
Yeah.
To where Total Drama is.
Yeah. Total Drama is just causing you to hit the sauce. I also picked Lucas the Spider. It is because, it has a very wide fan base of youngsters. Total Drama, I've never really heard anybody talk about it. I didn't even know what the hell it was until it was brought up to be in this series.
I don't like the category for neither of them. The next one.
Yeah. We just need to power through.
Yep.
Originality. Yep. So, and the funny thing is,
I went away here. I was gonna say it, but yeah.
All right. So, originality, I actually went with Total Drama, just based on the fact that even though technically it is a show that's kind of loosely based on like competition shows like Survivor.
Yeah.
I feel 100%.
Like
I feel like because there hasn't been a cartoon like that before, that kind of adds to the originality. And so that's why I went with Total Drama. Dave, go ahead.
You kind of took the words right out of my mouth, Doug. I've seen people be a spider before. There's Spider-Man. It's not like these kid shows that are informative and stuff. Like, I've seen 100 of them. Total Drama Island is pretty original for its unique format. Yes, it is kind of like a parody of like Survivor or whatnot, but we don't see cartoons or animes that are, like that. So it's kind of one of one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Shawn, you don't have to break a tie, but go ahead.
No, I agree with you guys 100%. There's way too many animal type kid shows that nothing they can come out with is original anymore.
Yeah.
With all the other points, I agree with Total Drama.
Yeah.
kind of being like Survivor, and you don't really see shows like that as adaptations and cartoons.
All right, so 1-1, and so that just means this thing's gonna have to go 4 categories. Animation style. All right. The gentleman on the bottom row has raised his hand, so he gets to go first in class.
Oh, sorry, I was swatting a fruit fly.
Ah.
But I'll go first. I have Lucas the Spider winning this one. Hands down, there's no denial. And obviously they've had, they have better technology and systems than Total Drama probably did, but
they used live action settings and Lucas's Spider, right?
I think so for some of them. I don't think it's for like the whole scene, but like most of it, yeah.
Okay.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. Definitely.
But no, it's just
it gives it more realistic.
Just nice and clean. I mean, you look just right at the picture of like the logo of the show itself. It's so detailed. Like you can kind of almost see every little hair of the spider. It looks like they really took their time and to make all like every little detail of the animals that are in the show right.
Yeah.
Total Drama is just kind of, to me, it looks more like
2D
flat colors, stick figures that are flat to the screen.
Yeah, flat colors and simplistic backgrounds.
Yep.
Is what I have written down.
Okay, so I think I'm probably going to get outvoted on this one, but I actually went with Total Drama because I actually prefer regular cartoon animation as opposed to the computer animated stuff.
Right, the CGI and whatnot.
About that.
That's fair enough. It does take more skill to draw. It does take a lot more skill to do that.
Right, and if like you like that style better, then there's no issue I see with you picking a show that's that style.
Yeah,
we've all done it already, like with multiple shows.
Yeah, it's just how I view things. I'm not a big fan, and we're going to talk about it not on this show, but on Wednesday. Well, it airs on Wednesday. We'll talk about it about an hour and a half on Animated Showdown when we do Jimmy Neutron versus the Mummy. Right, Jimmy Neutron was that computer CGI stuff. I'm not a fan of that type of animation. I like old school hand drawn animation.
Oh, it takes a lot more skill to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
Total Drama has that. Total Drama really does not have anything else that interests me, but it has that. So, Dave, I think you pretty much already hinted at where you're going, but
honestly, I mean, after us talking about it, you know what? It does take more skill to draw this stuff. It is harder to do so. It's harder to be consistent with the characters and the details on the characters hand drawing it. The computer, you can save and copy paste. It's easier to work with the computer. So I'm going with Total Drama here.
All right. So Total Drama's up 2-1. They can win it with this next category, which is memorable moments. The issue with Lucas the Spider is I feel like most of those episodes were very, very short.
Yeah. And it's also not a show that's supposed to be memorable.
Yeah.
It's just supposed to catch your attention for like that 15 quick minutes and then move on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the chef in Total Drama Island is pretty rememberable for me.
Yeah. So,
it cracks me up.
Dave, you're going to start off.
Yeah, I went with Total Drama here. It definitely, for me, has more moments that stick out, like the chef, in my opinion, and some of the things that the contestants would, sly each other, do stuff. Sometimes they had little romantic scenes, between contestants and stuff. So that was kind of memorable as well. On the other side, Lucas the Spider, it wasn't that memorable for me.
Yeah. All right. Shawn, you're up.
Sorry, I almost choked. I also had Total Drama. winning this one. Just like from what Dave said with some of the romantic parts are pretty memorable. A lot of like the games and just the way they interact, the chef. And Lucas and Spider, I just don't think it's supposed to be a show that makes moments.
Right. It's just supposed to be a show that, the parent, in your case, your wife, you if you're home, sits the kid down for about 15 minutes so they can go, wash dishes or vacuum the rug or, shave their legs or whatever.
I
And
think Lucas the Spider is more of an informative show than a memorable show.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the way a lot of the kids shows are supposed to be.
Yes, they should, yeah.
Like we said that before with Bluey and Bob the Builder. I almost said Bob the Burger. Bob the Builder and Paw Patrol and countless others. There's going to be a few more I think that we're going to talk about that are in that same cat. And Dora the Explorer, she's another one. So Total Drama wins 3-1. They're gonna get 20 points out of this. And so the next battle is Dragon Ball Super versus Dr. Stone. Now, the two people do not know each other that have these in their division. So I didn't do this on purpose. When I realized I did it, I was just like, oh, okay. Dragon Ball Super in the division of Gary Lutz. Dr. Stone in the division of Kaylee Fox. I feel like I just said that. So they're going at it again. They do not know each other. One person lives in the Bronx. The other person lives 10 minutes away from where Shawn lives.
Starting a beef.
So, hopefully not. But I don't want to pick on anybody too much there. At least not on camera. All right. Cultural impact is the first category. They're both animes. Dragon Ball Super obviously comes from the Dragon Ball franchise. Dave, you're going to start it off.
Yeah, with cultural impact, I think this is the no-brainer. Dragon Ball is a franchise, and Dragon Ball Super is part of that franchise, and that franchise has opened the doors for many, many people into anime. So without Dragon Ball, your people aren't going to be talking about a Dr. Stone. So Dragon Ball was the show that brought me into anime as a kid. Everybody knows who Goku is. So I mean, it's a global powerhouse. Dr. Stone, while it does have, a nice fan base and it's growing and it's positive and it's, leading people into science and stuff like that, but Dragon Ball Super is just, it's on the top of the charts.
I mean, I obviously I know who Goku is. If there was a way, like I was trying to get a Goku costume for tonight, but the thing is, I couldn't find a size big enough to put this entire beautiful body into it. I'd be lucky if I could get it across my thighs.
All you did is have to get the yellow wig. Super Saiyan.
Oh boy. Anyway, so Shawn, you're up.
Dragon Ball Super all day, every day. I just think, even though it's kind of like not a spin-off, but like a different show than what Dragon Ball Z is, it never felt that way. It just felt like a continuation. And like you said, Dave, everybody knows Goku, Gohan.
Yeah.
It's just
Frieza.
Everything about the show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Way too big.
Piccolo.
I also went with Dragon Ball Super. Basically, everything you guys just said. You know, nothing against Dr. Stone, but I don't think it's been around long enough yet to have that big of an impact, or at least a bigger impact than Dragon Ball.
Right.
Originality is the next category. Dragon Ball Super, obviously an extension of Dragon Ball Z. Dr. Stone to me kind of felt like are you trying to signal you want to go first there, catcher?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, let me finish the intro.
Yep.
So Dr. Stone to me kind of had it's almost like they were, which is kind of weird for an anime story to do this, but it's almost like they were trying to tell a story straight out of the Bible with Adam and Eve. You know, you got
a little bit. He was
the fact that there was no, a chick with a snake on her head offering somebody a poison apple.
Yeah, he was definitely trying to rebuild civilization.
Yeah. So, but Dave, we'll start with you on that one.
Yeah, I went with on originality. I went with Dr. Stone here. I feel like Dragon Ball Super, it relies heavily on the long-established lore of Dragon Ball. So it already had lore to go off of, where Dr. Stone is unique. I mean, yeah, it's brings science, loving genius. He's making civilization from scratch. I mean, with something about a stone. Civilization is trapped in a stone. You don't I've never seen an anime like this one, which really tries to bring the emphasis on real science too. So, so I went with Dr. Stone here.
Yeah, I agree. I've never seen it, and trust me, I've watched quite a bit, since we started this animated Anarchy series. Only probably paid attention to some, but watched a lot, and I haven't seen one that looks like this yet. But I'm not going next. Shawn, you are.
No, I agree 100% with Dave, with Dr. Stone. I think what I said about like Dragon Ball Super just being a continuation doesn't make it original in any way. It's just an add-on. And like what you said, there isn't a lot of shows out there that are like Dr. Stone, if any.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
By the way, spoiler alert, I also went with Dr. Stone. So all right, tied 1-1. There will be no sweep here. We move on to animation. Both are anime. Who had the better animation? Shawn?
Dragon Ball Super. I just love the animation style, the drawings between the fight scenes, the detail in all the characters and all the battles that do happen. And just all the simplicity in it too. They didn't overcomplicate it.
I went with Dr. Stone. I actually thought it was pretty clean, and I liked the way it was drawn, especially how the light kind of gleams off the stone figures. So I went with Dr. Stone. So Dave, that means, and I took Shawn's gimmick away from him, but Dave, you're breaking a tie.
This is one where I actually had a toss-up between them, because in the early seasons of Dragon Ball Super, they were really hit hard with the criticized for having a cheap digital look on some of their animations in the early seasons. And Dr. Stone, it's been known for having stiff animations, kind of like they try to focus more on capturing the manga's feel than on dynamic action in the show, I believe. But Dragon Ball Super really stepped up its animation later on in the seasons, and because of that, I'm giving it to Dragon Ball Super. I mean, its animations are pretty flawless, especially when they're fighting up in space, to save Earth. Those animations are huge, especially when Goku goes into another form, past Super Saiyan, God. So I thought that was pretty intense. So I'm giving it to Dragon Ball Super here.
All right. So 2-1 Dragon Ball Super. They can win it with the next category, which is memorable moments. Whose moments were more memorable? You know what? I'm going to go first. And I'm going to go with Dr. Stone because I felt like, again, in that first episode, there was a lot more than I remember than like the 4 or 5 episodes I watched of Dragon Ball Super. Now, it also has to do with the fact that I watched Dr. Stone last, and Dragon Ball Super way before that, but still. So I'm going with Dr. Stone here. Dave, you're up.
See, this one was another tough one for me. I feel like a lot of people would pick Dragon Ball Super because of the nostalgic playoffs that they have, that give it more of that, memory of your childhood and whatnot. But I actually picked Dr. Stone here because it's unique, memorable moments. Dragon Ball is just all fighting, and that's the moments that you get. So, like, you get your 10 episodes of Goku trying to do a spirit bomb. But it takes too long for that. Dr. Stone, I feel like, the heartfelt emotions, the character connections, they all memorable moments in that show. Unlike where in Dragon Ball Z Super, the moments between the characters weren't always memorable.
Yeah. All right, Shawn, we killed your gimmick, or at least for right now. But go
That's
ahead.
fine. I also picked Dr. Stone. I feel like when Dave kind of took my notes from him about like Dragon Ball Z is just kind of the go-to pick for everybody because of how popular it is. And I think Dr. Stone is just so different and unique that like the character development and the character interactions and it's just a lot more memorable than watching Dragon Ball Super and remembering moments from previous Dragon Ball shows.
Okay. All right. So we're going to the 5th category. Somebody's going to get 10 points. Somebody's going to get 5. Humor is the next category. And for me, this one was tough because
it is tough.
It's tough because I was chuckling quite a bit during both shows.
Mm-hmm.
One made me chuckle a little bit more, but I'm not going first. Dave, you are.
Honestly, I like the little, simple slapstick kind of gags that Dragon Ball Super has. But Dr. Stone, I mean, it has some pretty good jokes and stuff in it too. This one was pretty tough for me as well. But I like the goofy humor that Goku brings. I like Vegeta and how he's kind of like, hard AZZ. But he has a soft spot sometimes too, and like he hates and loves Kakarot, which is Goku, at the same time, which brings nice humor, and Beerus as well. He brings with Whis, he brings some nice humor to the show as well. So I went with Dragon Ball Super here.
Okay, Shawn, you're gonna go next.
I also have Dragon Ball Super here. I like that style of humor, like the subtle but quick jabs they would throw at each other. And even like some of the bantering, that's all I can really say. I just like that style more than Dr. Stone's.
Yeah. I also had Dragon Ball Super. So, all right, they're going to win it 3-2. Dragon Ball Super is going to get 10 points. Dr. Stone's going to get 5. All right, so that was a little bit of a harder one, unlike the first two. Not as hard to get through because I think both shows were actually enjoyable. Unlike the last battle. But now we move on to the main event. It is Voltron versus M.A.S.K. Voltron in the division of Dave's lovely missus, Amanda. Let that influence you how it may. or not influence you.
Don't influence me at all.
Yeah. So I take it she's not in the room.
Nope.
Mask in the division of Ryan Barber. I'm kind of disappointed with the categories because there was a couple of categories I wanted to get, but we didn't. But we're going to start. The first category is cultural impact. These were both very popular shows in the 80s. Voltron is kind of, a lot of people say Voltron is kind of like Transformers. I equate it more to the Power Rangers of like a animated version of the Power Rangers. But Shawn, we're going to start with you.
Oh, this is a hard one.
That's why I'm starting with you.
Yeah. I have Voltron winning this one just because of the I don't know, it makes you go like what you said, you think it's kind of Transformers, but it's also kind of like Power Rangers. M.A.S.K, I just couldn't see like any impact of the show in general.
Not in today's day and age.
Not today. Like back then it was probably amazing, but
yeah.
I feel like it's confined to its era.
Yeah. I think Voltron right now is just more relatable to what's still happening in the world with Transformers, with the Power Rangers, with other like shows kind of like this. And M.A.S.K is kind of like Fast and the Furious now.
Yeah, it's Fast and the Furious, except for you have a billionaire who can't keep his kid in his room.
And they don't land a Charger out of a C-130 at like 130 miles an hour on a road.
Yeah. All right. Dave, you're up next.
Yeah, I went with Voltron here. Its enduring popularity, its longevity. I got to give it to Voltron here. I think M.A.S.K is confined to its era.
Yeah. I think Voltron paved the way for other robot shows.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely had huge influence.
Yeah. So that's why I went with, even though I really do like M.A.S.K, I went with Voltron because there's certain things you can't ignore.
Yeah.
You can't ignore, when somebody's screaming for you to come downstairs and take out the garbage. You can't ignore.
You can. You just might get yelled at.
Yeah, exactly. You can't ignore when a deer is crossing the road, or else it really takes out your bumper. And you can't ignore when one show has better cultural impact than the next.
Unless it's close. Then,
Well, the thing is, this was not close.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if this were Voltron versus Transformers,
then it'd be tougher.
Which, spoiler alert, is going to happen at some point. I've already booked it.
I like it.
Then that's a different story. But because, M.A.S.K is, like you said, it's confined to its era. They did bring it back as a comic book in 2017. But other than that, like, there's really been like no other signs of like a reboot. Except for that comic book. All right. Up next, we have originality. And I'm going to go first on this one. Again, you want to go first?
No, go ahead. You want to take it? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because it's one of those shows. I feel like M.A.S.K does have originality, but I feel like because Voltron set the tone for what was to come, that's why I went with Voltron. In that sense.
I understand.
But you're gonna go next.
Yeah, I went the opposite way here. I went with M.A.S.K. I think Voltron series is an edited and dubbed adaptation of two separate Japanese animes. M.A.S.K was originated from a toy line. So I feel like it's harder to create something around just a figure than to adapt or
By the way,
take
it's not the first time they did it. It's the first time Kenner did it.
Yeah.
But it's not the first
100
time it's been done.
Oh, 100%, 100%. A lot of these shows come from toy lines. Like we've
G.I. Joe,
stated
Gem,
yeah, we
Transformers.
stated it in other shows. But I think Voltron, because it's an adaptation of other series,
Yeah.
I gave it to M.A.S.K here.
Yeah. So, all right, Shawn, we revived your gimmick.
So I'm actually going the opposite way of what Dave is and agreeing with you, Doug. I went with Voltron just because of, to me, M.A.S.K kind of felt unoriginal because at the time, like you had like shows like G.I. Joe and other like shows that kind of resemble what M.A.S.K is about. And I just feel like it was kind of like, oh, let's just take one show and make it like this.
Yeah.
But
So you're saying they took like G.I. Joe's platform kind of and just made it into their own.
Just G.I. Joe, but it's like shows of that era. You know, they were more like, okay, you have your G.I. Joe line, which is military saving, and then you have like M.A.S.K, which is kind of like not military, but more like civilized. But it's kind of resembles each other in a sense. That's just how I feel.
I like that. I like that take.
And
I like
also, too, to kind of capitalize on Shawn's point, the helmet that Venom or Miles Mayhem, of Venom, wears in M.A.S.K, that is resembling the Cobra helmet from G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
So they do take some elements, and I actually heard that on a podcast. So, not necessarily an original thought. All right, so Voltron is up 2-0. I did not see it going this way at this point, but there still is a long way to go. Maybe. Animation is up next. Voltron can win it here with the animation category. Both shows come from the 80s. Voltron, like Dave said, is kind of an adaptation of Japanese shows. Dave, this time I'm gonna have you go first.
Yeah, I went with Voltron here. I just thought it had better and more consistent animation throughout the shows. It also had a bigger budget. I'm pretty sure from reading that Voltron had a bigger budget to work with their animation, so that also is a plus, which helps a lot. So I gave it to Voltron here.
All right. I went the opposite way this time, and I went M.A.S.K because I just feel like I personally felt like the animation in M.A.S.K was just a little cleaner, not by much, but enough than Voltron. So Shawn, we haven't had you do it all episode, but now we've had you do it twice within the last 5 minutes.
I went Voltron.
You went what?
Voltron.
Okay.
For almost the same reasons you went with M.A.S.K. I just thought Voltron was cleaner, more attentive to the detail. I think there was a lot more going on in that show. Got resolved. Dang it, I missed him again. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with Voltron. I like that animation a lot better. To me, it was cleaner, a lot more attention to the detail. Just the motions that some of the characters had to pull off. I just liked it a lot more.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Voltron wins in a sweep. I was not expecting this. I figured it was going to be a little tighter than that, but I think it's the categories. I
believe so too. It's definitely
it's got to be the categories because there are some certain categories where I do feel like M.A.S.K kind of blows them out of the water.
Character development.
I like the theme song a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Merchandise, M.A.S.K made a lot of money. So if those would have been the first three categories, we'd be talking a completely different matchup here. But All right. Voltron's going to get 30 points. M.A.S.K is going to lose 10. Again, not expecting that, but that's, the way these matches happen sometimes. I got to start trying to figure out how I can rig the randomizer.
Then is it really a randomizer?
If I say it is, yeah. All right. All right. So coming up. All right. So today we had Voltron sweep M.A.S.K. We had Dragon Ball Super beat Dr. Stone in a close one, 3-2. Total Drama defeated Lucas' Spider 3-1. And HELLSING Ultimate defeated Rick and Morty the Anime 3-1. Coming up this Wednesday on Animated Showdown. This Wednesday at noon Eastern Time. American Dragon Jake Long versus The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Jimmy Neutron versus The Mummy Animated Series. Boruto Next Generations versus Men in Black the Animated Series. And Jujutsu Kaisen versus Naruto is the main event.
It's going to hurt my soul.
So, obviously, Dave's going to be a little torn in that one. Next week here on Animated Hour of Power, we have Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog versus Code Geass, Chalk Zone versus Legend of Tarzan. This one is going to be so bad it's going to be fun to talk about. New Kids on the Block versus Mr. Bean the Animated Series.
Oh boy.
So, I put us through, and by the way, Eric's still not back yet. I got to do it. I got to do another week of this, so I'm putting myself through the same thing I'm putting you guys through. And the main event is going to be Futurama versus the Looney Tunes.
Oh,
So,
I like that headliner.
Yeah. So that is this upcoming Wednesday on Animated Showdown. Or no, that's next week on Animated Hour of Power. I already wrote what's on Animated Showdown. All right. Make sure to like and subscribe to the When Tunes Combine YouTube channel. Join the When Tunes Combine Facebook group, facebook.com/group/When Tunes Combine. Also, like and subscribe to the Wrestling Through the Years YouTube channel, the Wrestling Through the Years podcast. This Friday night, we are going to have a very special episode. Daniel is off for his birthday. Eric is still in Australia. That means I am on my own. Also, mainly because Clineth didn't volunteer to come on and do the show with me. But this week we are going to do a retrospective on the Global Wrestling Federation. We're going to talk about its first year in existence, and I will not be alone. I'm actually going to have people with me. Rugged Rod Price, the California Stud, friend of the show. John Horton, a.k.a. Craig Johnson, when he was in the Global Wrestling Federation. He's going to be with me as well. He's been on the show multiple times. Scott Hudson, former commentator of Global Wrestling Federation and WCW, will be on the show as well. And former referee of the Global Wrestling Federation and booker of the Global Wrestling Federation, James Beard, will be on the show as well.
Wow.
Also working on more guests, some more phone calls I got to make, which is, I should have made them already, but I've been lazy and busy all week. Also, like and subscribe to the Dizzle97 YouTube channel and Twitch. Daniel's been doing a lot of card unboxings or pulling packs, I guess is the legit lingo. So he's did one earlier this afternoon. Also, Eric's Unscripted Sports Show when he gets back from Australia. You can catch Dave on Twitch at TCXGodsend95. Shawn on TCX Reaper on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. Also, the Stabcast with Daniel and Mindy. That is it for us here tonight. We'll see everybody on Wednesday.
Have a good night, guys.
Adios.
Later.